Chosen one, listen to me carefully. This is not just another day. Heaven has issued your name. All of creation paused when your identity was spoken, not whispered, not mentioned in passing, but declared before the courts of heaven. The scroll bearing your final assignment was unsealed, and angels moved in immediate formation. You are not like the rest. You were never meant to blend in. You were set apart before your first cry echoed into the earth's atmosphere. Every detour, every disappointment, every door that wouldn't open, it was orchestrated to lead you here. You may feel weary. You may wonder if you missed it. But the truth is, you've been in divine holding, held, not forgotten, hidden, not rejected, just like David in the wilderness, just like Moses on the backside of the desert. You've been in preparation, not punishment, preparation. And now, yes, now the timing has shifted. A fresh wind is moving through the unseen realm, and your name is on heaven's lips. You are not a maybe. You are a marked one. It was declared in Luke 10, Shizyo, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. This is not poetic. This is divine legal documentation. You are authorized. You are covered. You are armed. God didn't wait until you were perfect. He moved when you were surrendered. There's a difference. Perfection was never the requirement. Obedience was. And when you whispered yes in the secret place, even when no one else heard it, heaven heard it loud and clear. That was the moment the angelic dispatch began. It wasn't when people applauded you. It wasn't when you got the platform. It was when you chose obedience in silence. That is what triggered the shift. That is why you're here, reading this, right now. This is not coincidence. This is divine interruption. Even your battle with identity has been part of the shaping. Every time you questioned, why me? You were echoing what hell already knew. You are dangerous when you believe who you are. That's why the enemy sent counterfeits to distract you. That's why warfare hit hardest when you got closest. Because when a chosen one awakens, hell trembles. You do not just carry light, you are light. Darkness does not want you to find out. You've been fighting unseen wars, wrestling with words never spoken aloud. But God saw every tear on your pillow. He counted every silent surrender. And now He is speaking back, loudly, directly. This is your moment. Do not scroll past this word. Do not talk yourself out of it. The realm of heaven is leaning toward you right now, waiting for your spirit to respond. God is calling for you to rise, not eventually, but now. There are assignments locked inside you. Mantles, blueprints, revival keys, things no one else can carry because they were written in your spiritual DNA. And now that the time has come, the movement of angels has begun. Heaven has released its forces to clear the way for your path. But they're not here to do it for you. They're here to walk with you as you step forward. You don't have time to hesitate. You don't have time to apologize for your fire. You were marked for this. And if you feel the fire rising in your chest as you read this, don't ignore it. That's the Spirit confirming your identity. You are part of the remnant. The ones who don't bow to fear. The ones who speak when others are silent. The ones who break curses simply by entering the room. Stop shrinking to fit into systems God sent you to disrupt. Stop doubting the sound of your own anointing. What you carry is not noise, it's power. It's the sound of deliverance. It's the voice of generations waiting to be freed. You were never just surviving. You were storing up fire. Now the fire has been noticed. The assignments are activating. You are not waiting on God anymore. He is waiting on you to move. Every spiritual delay is breaking now. Every demonic resistance is being dismantled. The opposition you faced was not because you were going the wrong way. It was because you were getting too close. Too close to breakthrough. Too close to purpose. Too close to the unveiling of who you truly are. And now that the heavens have shifted, and your name has been authorized again in the courts of divine timing, the assignment is falling into place. You may not feel ready, but obedience is stronger than fear. This next step will require you to believe what God said about you, even when nothing around you confirms it. You'll walk on words before you walk on water. But that's how the chosen move. We walk by fire, not by sight. Let this be the moment you accept the truth. You are not just gifted. You are called. You are not just different. You are dangerous. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can cancel a divine assignment once heaven decrees it. If this word is burning inside your spirit, if something in you is saying, "This is me," don't ignore it. Heaven is watching your response. You are being marked by this moment. Comment, "I receive below," as a prophetic act to align with heaven's movement. Chosen one, hear this. With the weight it deserves, your delay was never denial. The silence you thought was divine absence was actually divine warfare. While you waited, heaven warred. While you questioned, angels fought. And every moment you thought was wasted was actually a shield of mercy, protecting what was too precious to be exposed too soon. You thought you were being forgotten, but God was placing you in divine insulation, not isolation, insulation. You were hidden like a seed, not buried like a corpse. There's a difference. One is an end. The other is a beginning. And though you saw the darkness as delay, it was in fact gestation, the root before the rise, the death before resurrection. If God had answered you when you begged, it would have crushed you. You would have mistaken movement for maturity. You would have walked into warfare with no weapon. So instead, He held you, not because you weren't ready in spirit, but because the environment wasn't ready for your impact. A sword must be sharpened before it is sent to battle. You, chosen one, were being sharpened. You didn't imagine the struggle. You didn't exaggerate the pain. What you walked through was not small, it was violent in the spirit. But what you don't know is what didn't reach you. What was blocked. What was dismantled before it even found your doorstep. Hell's blueprints against you were real, but they failed. Because your angels were busy. Because your covering was activated. Because your name was sealed in heaven's records. God was never silent. He was simply speaking behind the veil, giving orders, shifting timelines, rearranging terrain. What looked like stagnation was actually divine choreography. And now the scene has shifted. The silence is breaking. The movement is beginning. You feel it in your chest. You know something is different. That's not your imagination. That's alignment. You questioned why doors opened for others while yours stayed shut. But you weren't being punished. You were being positioned. A lion does not hunt when it is still being raised. It waits, it learns, and then it moves with power that cannot be undone. You are like that lion. Heaven did not forget. Heaven restrained you until the timing was undeniable. And here's what you must understand now. This shift didn't come because of your perfection. It came because of your persistence. You didn't give up. You didn't walk away. You stayed when it felt easier to disappear. You prayed when your own voice trembled. You kept worshipping in the silence. That is what marked you. That is what proved heaven could trust you with more. The season of delay has broken, and with it, the lies that tried to build altars in your mind. Lies like you're too late. Lies like you missed it. Lies like God chose someone else. No, those were the whispers of darkness trying to distort the divine echo. The truth is, you were never off track. You were simply off the grid. Hidden for protection. Trained for power. Now, released for purpose. This is the moment when the first veil lifts. You'll begin to see glimpses, confirmation, divine appointments, spiritual weight returning to your words. Things will begin to obey you that ignored you before, not because you changed, but because your assignment has reached critical mass. Heaven is clearing the runway. Let go of the shame of the silent years. God never called them wasted. He called them holy. Your tears were not in vain. Your confusion did not disqualify you. If anything, it qualified you more. For those who wrestle and still stay, those are the ones heaven trusts with fire. Paul reminds us in Romans 8, Arshaba, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That includes the waiting. That includes the wandering. That includes the nights you thought you lost everything. All of it is being redeemed now. All of it is being woven together to serve this final assignment. There is something heavy on your life, weighty, sacred. And because of that, your journey has not looked like anyone else's. You've had to unlearn, unravel, and walk through deserts others never saw. But it was never about punishment. It was always about refinement. Heaven does not rush those it plans to crown. Now the gates are opening, slowly at first, but unmistakably. And you will notice the shift not in the noise, but in the knowing. You'll wake up with a deeper sense of clarity. You'll speak, and people will weep without knowing why. You'll walk into rooms and shift atmospheres just by showing up, not because of you, but because of what's resting on you. And here's the mystery that darkness didn't want you to know. Every delay was actually your protection. Every closed door was mercy. Every lonely night was preparation. And now, as angels begin to move again, you will see why the wait had to happen. You were not being held back. You were being held for a divine unveiling. Chosen one, the mantle is descending. This is not symbolic. This is not emotional hype. This is spiritual transference. The final mantle, the one you were born to carry, is being released into the earth right now. You've carried fragments, glimpses, dreams that hinted at your assignment, but now, the full garment is being lowered, and only you can wear it. It has your spiritual fingerprint, your divine measurements, your scars woven into its fibers. There is a weight coming upon your life that will make the ground beneath you tremble. Heaven is clothing you with authority, an authority forged in the fires you never told anyone about. Those silent breakdowns, those invisible battles, those moments you almost walked away. They didn't disqualify you. They prepared you. This mantle is not for display. It is not for applause. It is for warfare, for intercession, for establishing territory in hostile places. It is a mantle that announces to the kingdom of darkness, this one is no longer a threat. This one is a problem. You didn't earn this by merit. You inherited it by mercy. Others may be more skilled, more visible, more affirmed, but none of that matters now. Because this mantle was never about man's approval. It was heaven's decision. And heaven has decided you are the one. When the prophet Elijah found Elisha, he didn't give a speech. He didn't explain. He simply threw the mantle. Elisha understood immediately. He left everything. He knew, my life just shifted. Chosen one. This is your Elisha moment. The mantle is being thrown over your shoulders. You will never be the same again. And this mantle comes with consequences. It will cost you ease. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you the right to live small. Because the moment it lands, your vision will stretch. Your appetite will change. You will crave holiness like air. You will start to grieve what others celebrate and burn for what others mock. That's not pride. That's mantle transformation. You will start to see in the spirit at a deeper level. You'll begin to discern motives without being told. Your dreams will intensify. Your time will feel more urgent. That's not pressure. That's divine alignment. This is how chosen ones are mobilized, not with explanations, but with fire. And the reason hell fought you so hard these last few months is because it knew. It saw the angels preparing this very garment. It recognized the sound of movement, every demonic distraction, every relationship that collapsed, every sudden fear. It was all designed to derail you before the drop. But you didn't break. You bent, but you didn't break. That's why the mantle fits. Elisha didn't return to normal after the mantle found him. He moved forward, with speed, with fire, with boldness. The time for hesitation is over. What you carry now requires decision, not delay. And it's not just your life that will shift. Territories are tied to your obedience. Bloodlines are depending on your yes. What you carry will open portals of healing and deliverance for those still trapped. This isn't about your comfort, it's about their freedom. And heaven has trusted you with the key. As we read in Isaiah 61, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners." That verse is not just a prophecy, it's your assignment. This is why you couldn't blend in, why you felt the weight in rooms others seemed light in, why you carried burdens you didn't understand. You were always being prepared for this mantle, and now it is here. You don't need confirmation from man. The Spirit will testify. You'll feel the weight on your shoulders even now, subtle but undeniable. You'll sense the shift in your steps. The world will look the same, but feel different. That's because you've changed. You are no longer waiting for the mantle. It's waiting on your motion. This is the season of wearing, not just bearing. The mantle has moved from heaven's shelf to your shoulders. Don't drag it. Don't doubt it. Wear it with reverence and boldness. And if your spirit bears witness to this moment, if you know this mantle has just touched your life, type 444. Now as a sign, you've received what heaven just released. Chosen one. Listen carefully. Divine orders are falling like fire. In the throne room of heaven, scrolls are being opened, one by one. These are not general commands. These are precise blueprints. Instructions handwritten by the author of time, etched with fire, sealed with glory. And among those scrolls is one with your name on it. Not your earthly name, your eternal one. The name that carries your divine essence. The one known before the foundations of the world were laid. This scroll contains the next movement of your life. A divine assignment, not based on preference, but on prophetic necessity. You don't get to vote on this. You get to obey. Because when orders fall like fire, they do not ask permission, they demand response. You've felt it already. The sudden urgency, the holy unrest, the dreams that keep returning, the phrases that echo in your spirit like thunder. That's the sound of the scroll opening in the spirit. You're not just being stirred, you're being summoned. You've wondered why your peace has been disturbed, why you can't settle. It's not because something is wrong, it's because heaven is calling you to rise. It's time to build what you were shown. It's time to release what you've carried in silence. God is giving instructions now that cannot be postponed without cost. This is not the season to pray for comfort. It's the season to pray for clarity. Because when God speaks at this level, anything less than full obedience is rebellion. This is not about emotion. This is about execution. The scroll does not flatter you. It doesn't pander to your fears. It declares the mission. It outlines your reach. It identifies the principalities assigned to resist you and the angels assigned to war with you. You are not moving into a vague sense of purpose. You are stepping into precision. And with that precision comes pressure. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be labeled as too intense, too spiritual, too focused. But it won't move you because you know what you've seen. You've read the scroll. You've heard the orders. And now you burn with responsibility. There are places you must go. Words you must speak. Chains you must break. And you can't wait until it feels easy. The fire doesn't wait for your convenience. It waits for your courage. Every chosen one has a scroll moment. For Moses, it came in the wilderness with a burning bush. For Esther, it came through a royal call in a time of genocide. For Jeremiah, it came with a declaration. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Yours is unfolding now, not in a blaze of public glory, but in a sacred whisper burning through your bones. The words on your scroll are not abstract. They are divine assignments tied to real lives. What you do next impacts destinies. This is why you've been fought so hard. Because what you carry has the power to change regions, cities, nations, and hell would rather keep you distracted than see you awakened. But it's too late. You've seen too much. You've felt the pull. The illusion of normalcy has shattered. There's no going back to shallow living. The scroll is open, and your hands are trembling, not with fear, but with awe. Some instructions will be strange. Move here. Leave that job. Speak to that person. Launch now. Wait here. Don't try to reason with divine orders. They're not meant to make sense to your mind. They are designed for your obedience. And on the other side of that, obedience is movement that cannot be manufactured by talent or strategy. Only obedience can trigger it. As written in Habakkuk 2, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. This is what your scroll is: a vision, a command, a heavenly architecture. You are to write it, live it, run with it, and build it. Even if you have to build alone, this is why God stripped you from the noise, why he separated you from voices that once influenced you, because no one else has read your scroll. They weren't in the room when it was released. They didn't hear the thunder that followed. That's why their validation is unnecessary. What matters now is your response. There's no more time to waste second-guessing, no more begging for signs when the fire has already fallen. You know too much. You've seen the patterns. You've felt the shift. The scroll has been opened, and it is time to move. You will know these divine orders because they will not leave you. They will chase you, burn in you. They will rise in the middle of conversations and erupt in the stillness of the night. These are not ordinary thoughts. They are commands encoded with glory, and they must be obeyed. Your obedience will open things you didn't ask for. Resources will come. Doors will swing wide. People will appear, because when heaven sends orders, provision follows the instructions. Don't wait for confirmation from those who have no access to your scroll. Heaven has already signed it in fire. Chosen one. The alarm has been sounded in the spirit. There are moments when heaven speaks in a whisper, and there are moments when it roars. This is the latter. The trumpet has been blown. The atmosphere has shifted. Something eternal is unfolding, and your name has been shouted into it like a war cry. You are no longer just watching the battle, you are being summoned into it. This sound, this holy alarm, is not for everyone. It won't register to the casual believer or the passive soul. But you hear it. Don't you? It's been ringing in your spirit for days, weeks, even months. You've been feeling something rise inside of you that has no language. A stirring, a longing, a sense that the season has changed and the urgency has intensified. This is not emotional hype. This is divine clarity. You are not just called, you are activated. And the Spirit is not asking for volunteers, it's identifying soldiers. You are not reading this by chance. You are reading this because the same God who spoke to Moses through the fire is speaking to you now. And he's not requesting your attention, he is demanding your response. Something irreversible has begun. The alarm is heaven's way of saying, you don't have time to delay anymore. You don't have time to negotiate with old mindsets, to entertain distractions that wear the disguise of comfort. The trumpet has shattered your excuses, and if you're honest, you know it. You've outgrown the shadows. The oil you carry is too heavy for small living. What's been tolerable in the past is now intolerable. The conversations that used to feed you now drain you. The environments you once settled for now feel suffocating. This is because the sound of the alarm is burning everything that isn't aligned with your final assignment. You've been given too much, seen too much, endured too much to stay still. The fire in you is not just for survival, it's for strategy. It's time to rise. Not next month. Not once you feel ready. Now. It was declared in Joel 2. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm on my holy hill. Let all who live in the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is coming. That day is no longer distant. It's already moving through the earth, and your assignment is part of the answer. When the alarm sounds, the time for debate ends. The time for hiding ends. Heaven is calling you into the front lines. You don't have to be loud to be lethal. You don't need a stage to carry authority. You just need to say yes. And this yes is not just spiritual, it's practical. Some of you will be called to launch, others to leave. Some to write, others to speak. Some will go into cities, others into systems. But all will carry the sound of heaven's urgency, and it will not let you go. You will begin to feel divine pressure not to perform, but to prepare. Clean your atmosphere. Turn down the noise. Make room in your calendar. Consecrate your mornings. Cancel the appointments that drain your spirit. You're not being selfish, you're being strategic. Because you're responding to an alarm others don't even hear. Chosen one. We are entering a time where delayed obedience becomes disobedience. And this is not a word of condemnation. It's a word of awakening. God is not angry with you. He's entrusting you with something weighty. He is telling you the truth before the storm comes. And because you are chosen, you get to move before the masses wake up. Do not silence the alarm. Do not dismiss the feeling that your timeline is accelerating, because it is. And the faster you align, the faster things will open. And if this word is stirring something deep inside you, if you feel the weight of the trumpet in your chest, then don't keep this moment to yourself. There are others who need this sound. Others, God will wake up through your obedience. So take a moment to pass it forward. Share this message. Let it be the alarm that sets someone else ablaze. If your spirit is being stirred and your heart knows this is a divine appointment, make sure you're connected to the well of this flow. Subscribe to stay rooted in what God is saying in this hour. This isn't just content, it's confirmation. And if the Lord moves you to sow into this prophetic movement, do it with intention. Every seed you plant in this soil echoes back in heaven's timing. Some moments are just meant to be shared. And some words are meant to awaken sleeping warriors. You're not here for entertainment. You're here because your destiny is being clarified. The alarm has sounded, and you heard it. Chosen one. This is not coincidence. You didn't stumble upon this message. Heaven orchestrated it. God rearranged timelines. Delayed other words. Silenced distractions, just so this one could reach you in perfect alignment. You've been searching, asking, waiting for confirmation. This is it. This is the echo of what you've been hearing in your spirit for weeks. A voice wrapped in divine timing. You are not a mistake. You are not a misfit. You are a divine interruption to everything hell had planned. And the weight of your presence is proof. When you enter a room, something shifts. When you speak, even casually, hearts stir. Why? Because you carry the vibration of heaven, the resonance of a life marked by fire. You weren't made to blend in. You were born to break patterns. This is why rejection followed you. Not because you were unwanted, but because darkness always tries to isolate the ones it fears most. From childhood, you felt different. You sensed things others didn't. You carried burdens you couldn't explain. But even then, the Spirit hovered over your life. The hand of God never lifted. Now, that same hand is placing you on the front line. You are not just gifted, you are disruptive. And that disruption is heaven's tool. You walk into systems and expose idols. You sit in silence and conviction stirs around you. You didn't ask for this, but you were designed for it. The enemy saw your future and tried to trap you in your past. He used distraction, disappointment, and delay. He sent counterfeits to detour you. And still, here you are, scarred. Maybe, but not broken. Discouraged, perhaps, but still dangerous. Because now you know the truth. Your life is heaven's rebuttal. Every time darkness tries to claim a soul, your presence testifies. Not this one. This one is chosen. You are God's interruption in the middle of generational curses. You are the turning point in your bloodline. You are the miracle others prayed for without even knowing your name. Heaven doesn't choose the obvious. It chooses the obedient, and obedience is exactly what brought you to this moment. You didn't run when you could have. You didn't quit when no one saw your fight. You stayed, and for that, heaven is responding. This next season will not be gentle, but it will be glorious. You will be stretched, but also strengthened. You will walk alone at times, but you will never walk without angels. Because what's rising in you is too sacred to be diluted by casual surroundings. You'll begin to sense this holy separation again. People falling off, opportunities disappearing, plonk crumbling. Don't resist it. Don't grieve what God is removing to make room for what's divine. Sometimes heaven clears the space before it sends the fire. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are, in fact, early. Chosen ones always walk ahead of time. That's why you've always felt out of sync with your surroundings. You were never late. You were just on a different clock. Heaven's clock. As we read in Isaiah 43, Shidzio, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? That's the moment you're standing in now. Something new is springing up. Not outside of you, but from you. You are the new thing, the new sound, the new strategy, the new vessel, not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. And if you're still reading, still feeling that burning in your chest, don't let this pass you by. You're being marked again. Heaven is branding this word into your bones. You'll hear it in your dreams. You'll see it in your spirit. You'll walk into rooms, and everything will feel different, not because they've changed, but because you have. This is your emergence. You are stepping into visibility, not for fame, but for function, not for applause, but for assignment. People will look for the old you, but they won't find her. They'll speak to the version of you that doesn't exist anymore. You've outgrown what once fit, because fire has a way of reshaping everything. Don't minimize what God is awakening in you. Don't downplay the weight of your presence just to keep others comfortable. You were never sent to maintain. You were sent to overturn. And if this resonates, if your spirit is trembling with the weight of confirmation, respond with 3 simple words. Say, I'm still here. Chosen one. Let no one deceive you. Your suffering was never random. You were not being punished. You were being processed. And the furnace you endured was not for their approval, but for heaven's preparation. You have been tried, refined, crushed, and pressed, but not to destroy you. To make you into a vessel that can hold glory. What others saw as weakness was actually your consecration. What they mocked as delay was God's strategy. You have been in the fire of secrecy, the crucible of private agony, and God was watching it all. Every time you cried out in silence, every time you questioned your strength, every time you considered walking away and still didn't, it was counted. There is a sacred violence in surviving what should have destroyed you. That violence forged something in your spirit that no sermon could teach. You didn't just gain knowledge, you gained authority. You now carry a frequency in your spirit that can shatter chains, not because you studied them, but because you wore them. You've been misunderstood, misused, mislabeled, and yet, here you are. Not because it was easy, but because you were chosen. The difference between you and them wasn't your talent. It was your endurance. You held on when heaven was silent. You clung to purpose when all you had were fragments. There were seasons you prayed and the heavens didn't move. Nights when you worshipped through your own exhaustion. Mornings when you got up to fight demons no one else could see. You did that not because you're strong, but because you're marked. That mark made you a target, but it also made you unstoppable. You carry fire now, not just inspiration fire. A fire that burns away the unnecessary. A fire that terrifies systems and spirits alike. Your very presence is proof of resurrection. You are a sign that death didn't win. When you walk into places, the atmosphere adjusts, not because of who you are, but because of what's resting on you. You didn't earn this oil cheaply. It cost you nights of wrestling, seasons of loneliness, years of silence. The oil you carry is sacred. That's why God won't let you waste it on people who can't recognize it. There is a dignity to your scars now. They speak. They tell the truth about survival. They tell the truth about endurance. You wear what you walked through, and you don't need to explain it, because those who are meant to receive from you will recognize it without words. As David wrote in Psalm 66, 10到12, for you, God, tested us, you refined us like silver. We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance. That's not poetic comfort. That's prophetic reality. You went through both fire and flood and survived them both. Don't downplay it. Don't minimize what you carried. You didn't go through all of that just to encourage people. You went through it to lead, to rebuild, to restore. What you've survived is your license to liberate others. There is no fake fire on your life, no plastic glory, no second-hand revelation. You carry the real thing, and heaven is about to highlight it. Not for fame, but for function, because the time has come to release what you've gathered in silence. The season of testing was real. It humbled you. It purified you. It exposed the shallow within you. But it also made you unshakable. You are no longer easily distracted, no longer swayed by flattery or fear. You've seen too much. You've lost too much. And now you've become too much for anything average to contain. You were not shaped on stages. You were shaped in silence, in fire, in pain, in surrender. And what emerged from that fire is something the world can't comprehend, but it will recognize. There will be moments now when people look at you and sense something different. Don't explain it. Just carry it. They'll ask questions. Let your presence be the answer. You don't need to shout to carry power. Your stillness will shake things. This is what the fire produced. A vessel that can now be trusted. A heart that no longer seeks attention, only assignment. A mouth that no longer craves applause, only accuracy. Chosen one. You've been tried in the furnace for a reason, and now you come forth as gold. And no demon, no delay, no past mistake can disqualify what God has refined. Chosen one. You do not walk alone. Not anymore. You may have endured seasons where it felt like your prayers bounced off ceilings, where your cries echoed into silence, and your journey was marked by solitary roads. But those days have shifted. The realm around you has changed. What you could not see then is being unveiled now. You have angelic escorts assigned to your life. This isn't poetic metaphor. It is spiritual reality. From the throne of God, assignments have been issued. Assignments that include warriors of light, messengers of fire, and watchers who move in response to divine decrees, and you are now under their watch. They were always there, to a degree. But in this season, this final assignment, they have drawn closer. Their presence has intensified because your purpose has escalated. You are no longer on the edge of activation. You are in it. And heaven has reinforced your path accordingly. You've walked into rooms you didn't know were hostile, but your angels stood guard. You've been protected from battles you never even saw forming. These escorts do not announce themselves in fanfare, they move in stillness. But they move with power. They are not ornamental. They are strategic. They have been assigned based on your scroll, your burden, your mantle. Some are sent to war, to cut down spiritual interference. Others are watchers, keeping what is sacred about you covered in veils of divine mystery. Some move ahead of you, preparing the way. Others stand behind, closing gates you must never return through. They do not speak often, but they move swiftly. They respond not to emotion, but to authority. When you step into obedience, their swords are drawn. When you declare heaven's truth, their wings shift into formation. You are not walking into this season unguarded. There have been moments where you felt supernatural strength that didn't make sense, grace that came out of nowhere, peace in the middle of pressure. That wasn't coincidence. That was reinforcement. That was heaven strengthening the chosen. You are a carrier of divine instruction now. And because of that, your protection has increased. Hell sees this. That's why resistance has grown fiercer lately. But you need not fear it, because for every demonic whisper, there is an angelic response. For every plan formed against you, there is a heavenly counterstrike waiting to be deployed. And it is not just about defense. You are being surrounded by heaven's resources to go forward. You will begin to notice timing that's too perfect to explain. Conversations that confirm what you prayed in secret. Doors that open without your knock. These are signs of divine cooperation. Angels are not just watching, they're working. But they don't work in chaos. They operate where order reigns, and your surrender is that order. When your life aligns with heaven's timing, it becomes a runway for supernatural activity. The presence of these escorts is not permission to be careless, it is a reminder to be courageous. You are protected, not pampered. You are watched, not exempt. There is still cost, still obedience, still sacrifice. But now, you move as one commissioned, not one guessing. Even now, your spirit knows it. You've sensed it in your atmosphere, those moments when you feel unseen eyes watching, not in fear, but in fire. That is your confirmation. Your assignment is no longer a theory, it is a battlefield reality, and heaven has deployed its guard accordingly. As it is written in Psalm 91, For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. That is not wishful thinking. That is law. That is decree. And you are living under the covering of that command. You have not been abandoned. You've been surrounded. You are not isolated. You're insulated by the unseen. And from this day forward, you must walk with the awareness that you are not walking alone. You will walk into impossible spaces, and favor will fall without explanation. You'll face decisions that demand faith, and peace will cloak you like a garment. You will not be shaken, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. These angelic escorts are not to be worshipped, but they are to be honored through your obedience. Live in such a way that their assignment is not hindered. Speak words that align with heaven. Move with clarity, not confusion, because you are no longer operating alone. And the more aligned you become, the more their presence will intensify. You will not always see them, but you will feel the shift. A stillness, a weight, a surge of clarity in moments that once would have overwhelmed you. These are signs. Learn to recognize them. Learn to respond to them. Because now, chosen one, you walk with heaven at your side. Chosen one, this moment demands your surrender. There's a tension in the air, a holy pressure that won't release until your soul yields completely. This isn't the time for halfway obedience or selective faith. This is the line in the sand. The invitation is on the table, but it requires full response. You've carried weight. You've heard the sound. You've read the scroll in your spirit. But none of it will activate until your mouth opens and your heart follows. Heaven is not asking for spectators. It's calling for participants. And surrender is your only way in. You've already tried doing it your way. You've already tasted the frustration of partial obedience. You know what it feels like to carry fire without release. You know the ache of being full of words, but empty of action. That's not where you're meant to stay. This moment is not about how gifted you are. It's about how yielded you're willing to be. The kingdom doesn't move through talent. It moves through surrender. God doesn't anoint prideful performers. He anoints broken vessels who say yes, even when it costs them everything. And your yes matters now, more than ever. There is territory tied to your surrender. People connected to your next step. Generational healing attached to your obedience. This isn't about personal destiny anymore. It's about divine history being written through your life. You will feel resistance. Not because you're wrong, but because you're close. Hell will throw distractions, bring up old doubts, offer you safer roads. But deep down, you already know, safety was never the promise. Victory was. The moment you say yes fully, fearlessly, the atmosphere will shift. Instructions will flow. Peace will return. Doors will respond. Because heaven only unlocks what you are ready to steward. And readiness doesn't come from preparation alone. It comes from surrender. You have been brought to this precise place for a reason. The wrestle in your soul is not confusion, it's conviction. And conviction is a gift. It means the door hasn't shut. It means grace is still pulling at you. But grace doesn't linger forever. There comes a moment when mercy steps back and clarity demands an answer. That moment is here. Don't silence what you feel. Don't drown it with logic or delay. This is not emotionalism. This is divine strategy. God is speaking with force because the hour is late and your life is necessary. You've been running long enough, hiding long enough, explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. That ends now. You don't need agreement. You need alignment. Let the pride fall. Let the doubt melt. Let your soul say what your mouth hasn't dared to whisper. I'm ready. Not because you know what's next, but because you trust the one who leads. Your surrender will cost you, but what you gain will silence every fear. As we read in Romans 12, offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. This is the altar moment, the laying down. The fire awaits your yes. And if you know this word is for you, if you feel your spirit being torn from the shadows of resistance, respond now with a simple declaration. Type 777 as a prophetic sign that your yes has been spoken. Let it be recorded in heaven. Chosen one, your obedience has begun to unsettle hell. You may not feel it fully yet, but in the spirit realm, alarms are blaring. Every step you take toward your assignment sends tremors through the kingdom of darkness. This isn't fantasy. This isn't exaggeration. This is the reality of a life in alignment with divine strategy. The enemy never feared your potential. He feared your activation. Potential sits quietly. Activation disrupte système. Potential whispers. Activation roars. And the moment you crossed the threshold of surrender, the war around you shifted from subtle resistance to overt warfare. Hell is panicking because you said yes. Every fiery dart, every strange opposition, every sudden emotional heaviness, these aren't coincidences, they're confirmation. The enemy has no new strategies. His tactics are ancient: distract, delay, divide. And when those fail, he tries to discourage, but you are beyond reach now. Your clarity has become a weapon. Your yes is not just a moment, it's momentum. There are realms of impact opening to you that will not make sense naturally. People will begin to find you, drawn by a frequency they can't describe. That's not branding. That's divine resonance. You carry something now that speaks to the remnant. Your very presence activates those assigned to you. This is why your life had to be hidden until now. Why it felt like the world overlooked you. Why your name wasn't in their rooms. Because God was keeping you from exposure that would have drained your oil. But now that the fullness of time has arrived, you are stepping forward, marked, mantled, and protected. And it's not just about what's happening around you, it's what's happening through you. Your words will begin to carry new weight. Conversations that once felt casual will now shift atmospheres. You'll speak truth in places where deception once reigned. And you won't even know why people start weeping in your presence. That's the weight of heaven moving through you. As Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 10, "See, the weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds." This is your warfare now, not carnal, but consecrated, not loud, but lethal. You carry divine power in your spirit, and that power is already working before your feet even touch the floor. This is why protection has increased, why angels are stationed around you, why people who used to distract you can no longer find your frequency. You are being cloaked in divine preservation because of the magnitude of your assignment. But hear this. This assignment cannot be walked alone. You were never meant to fight in isolation. The body of Christ is a living army, and armies move in unity. This is the hour to surround yourself with the right sound. Stay connected to prophetic streams that nourish your soul, not just entertain your ears. There are voices, like this one, that are sent into your timeline for a purpose. Not to go viral, but to go deep. Not to draw crowds, but to awaken soldiers. If you've been fed, sharpened, and stirred by these words, consider staying connected to this stream. Subscribe to stay rooted in the sound of spiritual clarity. More than that, if you sense the Spirit moving through these moments and feel led, sow into this movement, not out of pressure, out of alignment. When you sow into revelation, you anchor it. You seal what heaven has deposited, whether it's prayer, resources, or partnership. Let your response be prophetic. Every time you share, you become a messenger. Every time you comment, you become a witness. Every time you give, you become a builder. This is not about one person. This is about the army of the chosen ones rising across the earth. And as this army rises, hell will respond, but it will not prevail. Because the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony are already louder than any demonic scheme. Don't be discouraged by the warfare. Rejoice in it. It means you've crossed the line. You're no longer a target of potential. You're a threat in motion. You were never meant to live hidden behind fear or buried in doubt. That season is over. You are now fully visible in the spirit realm and fully guarded by heaven's might. Chosen one, remember this truth. Every time you obey, you don't just move your life forward. You push back darkness. You shake regions. You shift atmospheres. Your yes isn't small. It is seismic. Chosen one. This is a last day assignment. This is not merely a personal calling or a season of spiritual inspiration. This is war strategy from the throne room of heaven. You were not born into a convenient time. You were born into a climactic one. The earth is groaning. The battle lines are drawn. And the remnant is being positioned. What you are being called into now carries eternal weight. The decisions you make, the steps you take, the words you release, these are not small. They echo beyond time. This is the final hour. And you are not a background character. You are central to what heaven intends to release through this generation. You were chosen not just for impact, but for intercession, invasion, and inheritance. Intercession, because your prayers now reach deeper and strike with precision. You will begin to intercede in ways that cause things to break that have stood for generations. Groanings will rise that words cannot hold. The Spirit will take over, and you'll feel your role in the Spirit, not just as a believer, but as a legislator. Invasion, because your life is a divine breach in enemy lines. You are not meant to sit quietly behind religious structures. You're being sent to occupy, not observe, to reclaim, not negotiate. You are carrying something that disturbs the demonic realm. And God is sending you into regions where altars of darkness have gone uncontested until now. And inheritance. Because what you walk in now is not just for you. It is for those coming behind you. You are breaking ground, building roads, setting precedent in the Spirit. Your faithfulness in this hour will become the open gate for those who follow. Children unborn will walk through doors you opened in intercession. This is why the urgency has returned, why the Spirit will no longer allow you to delay. What you carry is time-sensitive. It's not just about your destiny, it's about heaven's timeline. You are being drawn into alignment, not for convenience, but for confrontation. A holy collision between light and darkness is underway, and your name has been included in heaven's strategy. You will feel the cost, not because you are being punished, but because you are being positioned. You will lose some connections, not out of offense, but out of necessity. You will let go of distractions, not because they are evil, but because they are no longer relevant. The higher the calling, the narrower the road. Hot is raising generals now, not just followers. And generals do not move casually. They are trained by fire, built through pain, released through pressure. You have been through all three. That is why your life cannot remain in passivity. You must move. As it was spoken in Daniel 11, Sanshar, the people who know their God shall be strong and carry out great exploits. This is not about waiting on signs anymore. This is about moving with knowledge. Knowing who God is, knowing who you are, and knowing the weight of what you carry. The systems around you are shifting. Familiar things are being disrupted. You may feel disoriented at times, but remember, this is the nature of divine repositioning. God is not trying to confuse you. He is pulling you away from the noise so you can hear the next set of instructions. And when those instructions come, they will not make sense to the natural mind. They will challenge your comfort. They will test your loyalty. But your spirit will know they are divine. They are urgent. And they are for now. You are being called into spiritual boldness, into prayers that shake foundations, into declarations that split the heavens, into movements that birth revival. You will not be liked by all, but you will be known by heaven and feared by hell. The weight of this assignment cannot be diluted. This is a last day call, the kind that demands your full attention, your full availability, and your full obedience. You are being asked to lay aside everything that entangles, not later. Now, there will be moments in this journey where you feel the warfare increase. Don't misinterpret it. Resistance is a sign of movement. Opposition is confirmation. And the anointing you carry now was built for battle. You were not born for retreat. You were born for revelation. You were not created to maintain. You were designed to advance. The mantle you now carry is proof. You are a sign to this generation that God is not done speaking, not done moving, not done delivering. You are living prophecy, and your obedience will become revival's spark. Chosen one, you've stepped into the current of prophetic movement. This is not the moment to hesitate. The river is rising. The flow of God's voice is intensifying, and you are being swept into something ancient, sacred, and unstoppable. What began as a whisper is now a wind. What stirred in your private moments has turned into a holy flood of divine momentum. You are not riding emotional waves. You are responding to eternal timing. Heaven has opened the gate, and your spirit is being carried forward by the voice that once hovered over chaos and spoke worlds into being. That same voice now speaks to you, not just to comfort you, but to commission you. The prophetic flow is not random. It's precise. It follows obedience, not popularity. And now, because you've yielded, the flow has found you. You are in alignment with heaven's rhythm. You've moved from delay into divine acceleration. You will begin to experience a rapid unfolding. Words you once wrote and forgot will now come to life. Dreams that seemed too bold will begin to breathe. Conversations will echo with confirmation. Signs will multiply not to impress you, but to instruct you. This is what it feels like to live in the current of calling. You'll speak and wonder why the room went silent. You'll pray and feel heaven respond before you finish the sentence. You'll walk into spaces and feel the air shift, not because of your charisma, but because of the weight on your name. There will be moments when you question, is this really happening? Yes, it is. And it's not luck. It's not hype. It's prophecy, fulfilled in real time. But with the current comes responsibility. You must stay clean, stay consecrated, stay sensitive, because the flow is fast and the distractions will intensify. But if you stay surrendered, nothing can stop what God is releasing through you. The prophetic mantle on your life is not just for church walls. It's for city streets, office rooms, digital spaces, and broken homes. Your words will carry healing. Your presence will carry clarity. Your silence will carry weight. What others try to perform, you'll carry naturally. What others study to imitate, you'll release by instinct, because you've been marked not just to hear, but to speak, not just to feel, but to lead. This is what happens when a chosen one accepts the mantle without hesitation. You will move in signs, but you will remain grounded. You will walk in mystery, but stay anchored in truth. The world will try to label you, but you will know the name heaven calls you by. And that name, your true name, is becoming louder in the spirit. You'll hear it in worship, in dreams, in moments of stillness. It will pull you deeper. It will call you higher. It will remind you that you were never normal, never casual, always consecrated, as God declared through Amos 3. See, Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. You are now among those servants, a carrier of plans, a voice in the wilderness, a presence that prepares the way. You won't always understand it, but your spirit will recognize it. That's the flow. That's the call. That's the confirmation. And if everything inside you is saying, "This is me," don't overthink it. Just respond. Type flow with him. Let it be your silent yes. Let it be your prophetic echo. Let it be heaven's witness. Chosen one. God is using you as a divine wrecking ball. You were not called to be subtle. You were not chosen to blend into systems built on compromise. You have been fashioned, shaped, and appointed to tear down what pretends to be sacred but is hollow at its core. The places where tradition has replaced truth, where compromise has been dressed as compassion, where altars have been built, not to glorify God, but to glorify self. You've been sent into those places, not with diplomacy, but with fire. You are not here to be liked. You are here to liberate. There's a reason your presence has always caused discomfort. Even before you understood why, people would bristle around you. Systems would grow tense. Conversations would shift. You thought it was social awkwardness, but it was spiritual resistance. The darkness in others recognized the light in you. You don't have to shout. You don't have to argue. You carry something heavier than words. You carry holy disruption. When you walk into places out of alignment, spirits take notice. That's why warfare often greets you before any door opens. Because the enemy would rather keep you locked in self-doubt than see you realize your authority. But it's too late for that now. The covering has lifted. The fear has broken. And the wrecking ball has been released. You are going to demolish altars built to false gods, not with force, but with presence. You will shatter pretentious doctrines, exposer false narratives, and bring clarity where deception has reigned for too long. The very places where religious performance was celebrated, you will walk in and break the performance with one honest word. Because the glory resting on you is weightier than tradition. This is not arrogance. It's assignment. You didn't choose this path. It was written over your life before you had words to explain it. Every job that didn't fit, every friendship that fell apart, every leader that didn't understand you, it was all training, all exposure, all revelation. God didn't let you settle because He didn't design you to fit. He designed you to collide. There's an authority rising in you now that can't be stopped. You'll begin to feel it as you speak, as you write, as you move. The courage to say what others won't, the clarity to call out what others cover, the boldness to stand alone, if you must. You were born to be a divine problem for demonic systems. You'll walk into families and see chains break. You'll speak to strangers and addictions will begin to crumble. You'll write words that make principalities nervous, and none of it will come from striving. It will flow, because it's not your power, it's your position. God trusts you to carry confrontation without becoming contaminated. There is an art to holy disruption. You do not destroy for the sake of chaos. You demolish in order to rebuild. You uproot, not to shame, but to prepare soil for something sacred. Your calling is surgical, precise, heavy, but healing, as it was written in Jeremiah 1. Sure. See, today I appoint you over nations and kingdoms to uproot and tear down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant. That verse is not abstract, it's your mandate. You are appointed to shift territories, to unsettle what has become too comfortable in compromise, to turn hearts back toward the flame of truth. You will not always be celebrated for this, but you will always be known in heaven. Your name is recognized in the spirit realm not for performance, but for purity, for your unwillingness to sell out, for your readiness to be used. Even if it means walking alone, do not apologize for the weight of your voice. Do not shrink to make room for spirits that hate truth. Speak, move, tear down, then build again. You are not an echo. You are an alarm. God is not raising diplomats in this hour. He is raising disruptors, repairers of the breach, builders of the ancient ruins, and you are one of them. Chosen one. The hidden scroll has been opened. There are things heaven has reserved for this moment, mysteries sealed since before your birth, blueprints etched in divine silence that are now being revealed. These were not meant for any generation. They were preserved for you, the ones who would not dilute the truth, the ones who could be trusted with secrets too, sacred to be spoken in common spaces. You are among those chosen not only to carry revelation, but to walk in the weight of it. This scroll has waited for your surrender, and now that you've yielded, its contents are being unveiled. It won't come all at once. It will come like layers, waves, echoes of things you've glimpsed but not understood. You will remember dreams from years ago, journal entries that felt random at the time, words people spoke over you that suddenly click into place. It is all being assembled now. Because the scroll has been opened, what was concealed for generations is no longer locked. The timing has matured. The hour has come, and your spirit knows it. There's been a stirring in your bones, a sense that something vast is unfolding, and your name is tied to it. This scroll is not symbolic. It's strategic. It contains divine timing, sacred assignments, specific names, and places that only your obedience will unlock. It outlines who you must become to carry what it contains, not just externally, but internally. The transformation must be holistic. Because glory cannot rest on half-built vessels, you will find yourself waking with instructions, sitting in silence and hearing answers to questions you hadn't yet asked, reading the word and seeing dimensions you never noticed. These are signs that the scroll is active, that the seal has broken, and heaven is speaking with clarity. This is not ordinary revelation. It is generational. What you now walk in will affect bloodlines. It will open spiritual inheritance that had been delayed or forgotten. You will unlock the promises that your ancestors only saw from afar. God hid it from them, but He is revealing it to you. This is why you've never fit into shallow systems. Why surface-level conversations exhaust you. Why religious routine never satisfied your hunger. You were born to carry deeper things, and now those deeper things are being entrusted to you, and with them comes great accountability. You cannot carry scroll-level revelation with yesterday's maturity. You must rise into a higher place of consecration, of clarity, of posture. This level of instruction demands a new level of discipline. You can no longer afford distractions disguised as rest. You can no longer flirt with things that dull your discernment. The scroll does not flatter, it commands. And once you read it in the Spirit, you cannot unsee it. You'll feel it in your breath, in your movement, in your decision. It will shape your yes and redefine your no, because you'll know this is not about me anymore. What you've been entrusted with is not a personal promise. It is a prophetic charge. Your life has become a vessel through which God intends to move in unprecedented ways. And He is not asking for your opinion. He is requiring your obedience. The days of guessing are over. The scroll removes ambiguity. It defines. It exposes. It realigns. And it affirms. As the prophet Ezekiel wrote, "Then I looked, and I saw a hand stretched out to me. In it was a scroll. On both sides of it were written words of lament and mourning and woe." Revelation is not always comfortable. Sometimes it's costly. But to the chosen, it is always necessary. This scroll has been written with fire. It cannot be edited, only executed. You've been anointed not just to read it, but to run with it. There will be divine partnerships ahead, unexpected alignments, sudden invitations that are not coincidental. All of it orchestrated because the scroll has set things in motion. And while others chase platforms, you will carry presence. While others search for relevance, you will walk in reverence. You are no longer moved by exposure. You are moved by instruction. You are not just a receiver. You are a revealer. And everything around you is shifting because of what you now carry. Chosen one, you've reached the place of coronation. This is not metaphor, it is spiritual reality. You have been found faithful in the furnace. You have endured the silence, the shaking, the stripping, and now, heaven is placing something on your life that cannot be undone. The crown of divine authority, not because of ambition, not because of performance, but because of surrender. This is your crowning moment in the Spirit. Heaven is not just calling you chosen, it's calling you crowned. You have moved beyond simply carrying potential. You now carry the weight of responsibility. The mantle rests. The scroll has been opened. And now, the crown is being placed. This crown is not gold and glitter. It is forged from trials and tears, obedience and fire. It carries the imprint of every silent prayer, every sleepless night, every battle you overcame when no one was watching. It is invisible to the natural eye, but unmistakable in the realm of the Spirit. From this point forward, you will notice a shift in how people respond to you. Not because you've changed your tone, but because the authority on your life has changed dimensions. You now carry the fragrance of the King. You don't just talk about the kingdom, you carry its weight. There will be places you once felt overlooked that now cannot ignore your presence. Doors that resisted will begin to open, not because you chased them, but because your assignment has caught up with you. Heaven is endorsing what hell tried to bury. This crown comes with access, yes, but it also comes with guardianship. You are now responsible for more than yourself. Others will be drawn to you, seeking clarity, seeking wisdom, seeking Refuge. They won't even know why they trust you, they'll just sense it. That's the crown speaking. This is not a time for pride. It's a time for posture. Remain low, even as God lifts you. Stay hidden in Him, even as He reveals you to the world. The weight of this crown can only be carried in humility, because pride will distort it, but purity will magnify it. And this is why you were never allowed to move ahead prematurely. Because God was not just preparing the world for you. He was preparing you for the crown. Now you must move as royalty, not with arrogance, but with assurance, not with entitlement, but with eternal awareness. You are an ambassador of another realm. Your words carry law. Your presence carry decree. As Revelation 1 says declares, He has made us kings and priests to His God and Father. To Him be glory and dominion forever and ever. This is your dual role now, crowned and consecrated, a ruler in the Spirit, yet ever a servant to the King. You'll walk into spiritual atmospheres and see structures bow. You'll speak into situations that looked impossible and watch them realign. You'll carry breakthrough for people still trapped in cycles. Because this crown is not symbolic, it's legal. It is spiritual authority, and it has been authorized. Some will not understand what's changed. They'll see you as you were, not as who you've become. That's okay. Let them misread your history. Heaven has already recorded your transformation. You are no longer just surviving the process. You are now governing because of it. And if this word feels like it has reached into the very core of who you are, if something in you is trembling with the weight of recognition, know this: you are not alone. There is a remnant rising just like you, crowned, consecrated, commissioned. These messages are not just words on a screen. They are prophetic markers, spiritual mirrors to remind you of who you truly are. If they've confirmed what God is already whispering to your spirit, stay close to this flow. Subscribe so that each time heaven speaks, you're positioned to hear. And if this word stirred something holy in you, take a moment to share it. Someone else may need the confirmation you just received. Don't underestimate how one act of obedience, one share, one comment can become someone else's moment of awakening. Finally, if you feel led to sow into this movement to help amplify the sound of heaven across the earth, do so from a place of faith. Every seed planted in this prophetic soil becomes a statement. I'm part of this army. I'm walking in this word. And for those ready to wear what heaven has set aside for them, respond boldly. Type, I choose my crown. Let it echo beyond the screen. Let it echo in the spirit. Let it mark this moment. Chosen one, you are being moved into position suddenly. This is not the season of slow progression. What once took years will now unfold in moments. What once required process after process is now aligning in divine sequence. You are not being rushed, you are being accelerated, and not by chance, but by divine orchestration. There is a difference between motion and movement. You've experienced motion seasons of internal wrestling, deep preparation, hidden refining. But now comes the movement. Visible, unmistakable, irreversible. God is no longer just working in you. He is moving you. And it will happen suddenly. The shift will not wait for your comfort. The opportunity will not pause for your preparation. The door will not knock twice. The speed at which heaven is rearranging things will stun you. But don't fear it. Follow it. There is a holy momentum building around your name. Not fame, not performance. Divine momentum. The kind that heaven initiates and hell cannot interfere with. You will walk into spaces you never trained for, be invited into rooms you never petitioned for, and receive instructions you didn't know were coming. This is because you are not moving randomly. You are being positioned. Positioning is different from promotion. Promotion is man-made. Positioning is God-breathed. It doesn't require resume or reputation. It only requires readiness. And readiness doesn't always look like confidence. It looks like surrender. In this divine positioning, even your detours will make sense. You'll look back and realize that every delay, every closed door, every strange turn was necessary. God wasn't wasting time. He was building a route no one else could walk. You will begin to notice patterns breaking. What once resisted you will now submit. What once confused you will now reveal. Because God is collapsing timelines, compressing years of process into days of transformation. What you thought was still far off is actually just on the other side of your next act of obedience. This is why your environment is shaking. why certain connections are being removed, why your emotions feel raw. Heaven is tearing away what cannot go with you. The shift is too sacred to be compromised by clinging to comfort. It's like Joseph in prison. One night, he was just a forgotten dreamer in a cell. The next, he was standing before Pharaoh, interpreting dreams and receiving garments of royalty. What changed? Nothing but timing. The same spirit, the same gifting. But now, the position matched the preparation. Your moment is coming like that. Unannounced, unplanned in the natural, but perfectly timed in the supernatural. And you must not be shocked when it comes. You must be ready. Not ready with perfection, but with posture, with hands open, with heart surrendered, with eyes on the one who orders your steps. Don't confuse quiet with stillness. God may seem silent to your ears, but the spirit realm is buzzing around you. Angels are making space. Relationships are aligning. Assignments are being released, and your name is on the scroll. There will be decisions you have to make quickly, moves you didn't expect to take. Don't delay. The speed is intentional. This is not the time to second-guess yourself into stagnation. Heaven is moving fast, and you must match its pace. What you're about to see is what prophets of old longed to witness. A generation of chosen ones moving not in popularity, but in precision. You are a forerunner of that wave. You are being positioned not only to act, but to be the signal of heaven on earth. This sudden positioning will come with tests. Will you speak when he says speak? Will you go when he says go? Will you leave when he says leave? The instructions may come fast and firm, but with every yes, the weight of glory on your life will grow. People will begin to ask how it happened so fast. Don't point to strategy. Point to surrender. That's the real key. It wasn't the algorithm. It wasn't the network. It was the quiet, unseen yes. That's what triggered heaven's timeline. You are no longer in the season of getting ready. You are in the season of being sent. As Isaiah 60:22 declares, the least of you will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. I am the Lord. In its time I will do this swiftly. That time is now. Swiftly is now. Chosen one. Your preparation didn't end. It transitioned. And what felt like slowness was simply God protecting the integrity of your release. Because when you move, nations move with you. Generational curses break with you. Principalities tremble with you. You've carried the vision long enough. You've battled the doubt long enough. You've survived the delays long enough. Now comes the suddenly, and you are ready, more ready than you realize. Chosen one, you are marked. You are mantled. You are moving. Everything that tried to delay you has failed. Everything that rose against you to distract, deter, and discredit has fallen. And now, nothing remains between you and the assignment. Heaven etched into the fabric of your being. The fire in your bones is not seasonal, it's eternal. The urgency you feel is not hype, it's alignment. This is what it looks like when divine timing overtakes preparation. Not that the preparation ends, but that it finally finds its purpose. Every scar now testifies. Every loss now speaks. Every surrender has now positioned you to carry something sacred. You are not entering the battlefield. You are stepping into your appointed place within it. The enemy no longer sees you as a wanderer. You are known now as a threat, a breaker of cycles, a rebuilder of ruined cities. The mark on your life is visible in the spirit realm. You bear the evidence of obedience. and the realm of darkness cannot counterfeit it. You're not just moving for yourself. You're moving for your bloodline. You're moving for every person still trapped in systems you've escaped. You're moving for the children of those who never knew how to fight. You are a walking answer to generations of questions. The oil on your life has increased, not in glamour, but in gravity. Your words are heavier now. Your presence carries fire. You're not just praying anymore, you're legislating. Every time you declare truth, you are reshaping reality. Not through force, but through divine weight. You no longer walk under man's timeline. You move by heaven's rhythm. It may look unconventional. It may seem strange, but those who walk by the Spirit recognize the pattern. They know the sound of those who've been with God, and they will find you. Destiny connections are already stirring, being divinely nudged toward your direction. The movement inside you will not let you rest in mediocrity. You've tasted purpose. You've seen what happens when you speak with boldness. You know what it means to feel fire fall mid-sentence. That's not charisma. That's the anointing. And it's increasing. Even now, the atmosphere around you is adjusting. Old cycles are unraveling. Old labels are losing their grip. The lies that once fit you are now falling off. Your spirit has outgrown them. You are no longer bound by false narratives. You are marked with clarity. You walk in both mystery and precision. You carry both gentleness and fire. You are becoming the embodiment of heaven's contradiction, fierce and humble, loud in the spirit but quiet in the flesh, hidden but impossible to ignore. As written in Isaiah 61, San, you are being called an oak of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of His splendor. This is not about platform, it's about presence. You don't need to be seen to be significant. Your very alignment carries impact. You'll notice now that time bends around obedience. What once felt like delay will now feel like divine momentum. Things will come faster, not because you're striving, but because you're finally flowing. You've been repositioned, reassigned, reaffirmed. You are not who you were before this message began. Something in your spirit has shifted. You've crossed a threshold. You've stepped into the place where few dare to go. Total, surrendu. And in that place, God can trust you with anything. There will be no more arguing with God about your worth. No more debating whether you're ready. No more shrinking for the sake of comfort. You are marked. You are mantled. You are moving. And the movement has only just begun. You've come through fire. You've endured silence. You've surrendered again and again. And now you rise, not just as a believer, but as a builder, as one who carries oil, wisdom, and weight. Your steps are not random. Your voice is not noise. You are chosen. From this day forward, walk with your head high, not in arrogance, but in certainty. You are sealed by obedience, backed by heaven, covered in grace. The places you enter will not remain the same. The people you touch will be marked. The words you speak will carry force. This is not the end of your process. It's the beginning of your movement. There will be new battles, higher cost, deeper calls. But you've been made ready. The scroll is open. The crown rests. The army rises. Let the world wonder what changed. Let those around you see the transformation. But you already know. And if this message has met you in the deepest place, if it confirmed what you've heard, whispered in the secret place, don't keep it to yourself. Let this word ripple. Someone else needs what found you today. Like and share to keep this word flowing through the remnant. Drop a comment below. If your spirit is still resonating, your voice may awaken someone else's yes. Subscribe if you want to stay close to this sound. And if God stirs your heart to support this work, give, as led, not by pressure, but by faith. Your obedience is already speaking, and the movement has only just begun. You are marked. You are mantled. You are moving.